Yes, people, what is going on? Back with me, Widi Sasongo in Manchester United, Fan Forum Indonesia. So, we are going to talk about the players that become the dressing room sources to feed news, bad news, negative news to a journalist. If you haven't know yet, just watch the video. If you already know it, you're smart enough and you are truly a Manchester United fans. Okay, let's dive in a little bit. I'll give you the first clue, the first hint about the players. First of all, it's not the foreign players. They will never get a contact to a British journalist because the British journalist is Samuel Luckhurst. He's the hater of ERIK ten Hag. Obviously, every news about leaking information from the dressing room come from Samuel Luckhurst. He's the journalist that got information from a player that underperformed, and then a player that not wanted by ERIK ten Hag. So it's not a foreign player. There will be no chance that foreign players informing this kind of situation. So obviously, it's a homegrown players, local players, British passport players. So if ERIK ten Hag doesn't want him, if ERIK ten Hag doesn't need him, it is because purely their performance on the training ground and on the pitch is very poor. Who are the homegrowns from Manchester United? If you notice, there are 9 players. First, Marcus Rashford, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, Scott McTominay, Harry Maguire, Jadon Sancho, and maybe other players that Tom Heaton, you know. So let's identify from those homegrown players that have a certain agenda to get rid ERIK ten Hag out from Manchester United. It's already happened by the time of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ralph Rangnick, even Jose Mourinho. They all got rid by the power of the homegrown, the local, the British passport player that is underperformed, not not even be not even a player for Manchester United standard. So if you analyze the players, first of all, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's not a player because last year ERIK ten Hag dropped Aaron Wan-Bissaka, replaced him for Diogo Dalot. After Diogo Dalot got injured after the World Cup, Aaron Wan-Bissaka suddenly played very well. He took his chances. He worked hard at the training ground, and ERIK ten Hag trusts him. So definitely not Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and definitely also is not Marcus Rashford because he's the guy. He's the player that ERIK ten Hag wanted to develop. Obviously, maybe Rashford is ERIK ten Hag's favorite. No matter what, ERIK ten Hag always trusts on Marcus Rashford. Tom Heaton, nah, his age. He realized that he cannot be United #1 goalkeeper. He's happy to join the squad at his end of his career. Maybe now he's 40 or 39. Certainly not Tom Heaton. Scott McTominay, probably Scott McTominay because Erik Ten Hag already knew the weakness of Scott McTominay, but Scott McTominay still got a role for Erik Ten Hag because of his height, his physical presence. Erik Ten Hag love players who have physical presence, especially for Premier League. So Scott McTominay is a probably is a probable players that leaking the dressing room sources for the journalists. The second one, Harry Maguire. Yeah, he is underperformed. He's not being trusted by Ten Hag this season. He is a strong candidate of the sources that inside of the dressing room feeding the journalists of bad news. And the third one is Jadon Sancho, the recent players that got a feud with Erik Ten Hag through his statement at the Twitter. I don't know whether he's already asked for forgiveness to Erik Ten Hag about his comment, but the reaction of Jadon Sancho when Manchester United goes to Munich, he play a video game, a computer game, instead of supporting Manchester United, watching on TV or something. He is a very strong candidate to be a source for the journalists with agenda to sack Erik Ten Hag from Manchester United as a head coach. The others, I don't think so. Luke Shaw, he's the best left back in the Premier League, I think. So together, Erik Ten Hag at the press conference also mentioned that I know my players. About leagues, I know my players. So he's already know the players, and he took an action to bench them or not even involving these players into the squad. I don't think Harry Maguire is injured. I think he is also considered as a source from the dressing room. So we got two probability, two players who have an agenda to get rid of Erik Ten Hag. Obviously, Jadon Sancho and Harry Maguire. They're out of Ten Hag project. They said that some players is not, you know, not satisfied with the the way Erik Ten Hag managed the players to fit into his tactic. It seems that they got a harder job than the other players, and they blame Erik Ten Hag because Erik Ten Hag have his favorite towards Anthony Dos Santos. But if you notice Anthony Dos Santos, when he got no ball possession, he tracked back players, he chased, he helped the defense, he helped Aaron Bissaka, he helped Diego Dalot to defense. It's a good attitude. Even though sometimes he got showboating because he's a Brazilian player, that's normal. You buy a Brazilian player with tactic, with skills, with trickery. It is common. It's not a new issue that if you bought Brazilian player, he will provide trickery. Well, different with Casemiro. Casemiro trickery is more effective. So, as I mentioned about Jadon Sancho and Harry Maguire, they need to get rid of by Erik Ten Hag maybe next summer. Because to buy a homegrown players who got talent and skill is not an easy job. It requires big money. Look at Mason Mount. He already got 1 year left on his contract at Chelsea, but still, his price is £55 million. It's way too much. But he is British local passport player, so it's a good bargain in this position. So Erik Ten Hag cannot buy the Declan Rice 100 million. It's impossible. Harry Kane, 100 million players, even though his contract is still, 1 year left at Tottenham Hotspur. United don't have those kind of money because of the Glazers, because of the owner. The owner is shambolic. Put us on the position that a manager is outplayed by the player power. So these influential players that it's not good enough to play for Manchester United, to track back, to put a hard work to help the team to suit with the Ten Hag tactics, which is attacking together and defending together. They're just not good enough. Harry Maguire is slow, and it's not suitable for Erik Ten Hag. He need a centre back who had speed, like Rafael Varane. But yeah, Rafael Varane is injury prone, but he's very effective when he's fit. We win a lot of games when Rafael Varane is not injured. So definitely Harry Maguire is a no for Manchester United standards. Jadon Sancho, great players with trickery, but bad attitude at the training ground. Maybe it's a forgivable, but Erik ten Hag already gave Jadon Sancho a chance last year. He put Jadon Sancho 3 months away from Manchester United to clear up his mind, gaining his best performance, and it shows. It shows Jadon Sancho having an impact for last season. But suddenly, he fall back again with his attitude. Late at the training, not put an effort from when he's training. Look at his muscles. It's not growing. If you look at the thigh, if you look at the legs of Jadon Sancho, it's less muscle. Because Erik ten Hag demand a hard-working player in every division, in every position. And Jadon Sancho, definitely, he cannot fulfill those kind of demands. So it is a, is it a bad, it is a bad situation for Erik ten Hag to manage Manchester United because of these kind of players, toxic players that Manchester United cannot get rid of them. They got bigger salary. When we can sell them, we cannot replace them instantly with the good players, because good players, it means a hell of a price. So what do you think, guys, about my opinion unveiling the dressing room sources for Samuel Luckhurst? Are you agree or not? Just put your comment in the comment section below. We face Burnley in the next Saturday, and I hope we can bounce back from that point. We can manage to score 4 or 5 goals against Burnley. It's just a bloody Burnley. I hope we got the win. But Erik ten Hag need to put his focus to win games, because he's losing games. We got only 6 points out of 15. So we dropped 9 points. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.